In this vid, I'm going to be going through my 4th place finish at a city championship in Apex, North Carolina. So, as you can see, as you've probably been noticing for the past few days, my background's a little different. Dog sitting, you can actually see one of the dogs in the background. The purple-ness below is my awesome new Ultra Pro binder. They're similar to the monster binders, but they're about $10 cheaper, 10 to 15 bucks cheaper. And I don't know, I actually think I kind of prefer them to the monster binders. But yeah, so pretty cool new binder. And I think I'll just go ahead and get started. So I'm going to first start off by showing my deck list. Someone asked me for my deck list the other day, and I told them I really didn't want to give it out until I had proven that it was a decent list in tournament. So I've done that, so now I can show it. Oh, and if you didn't see it, this is the deck box that I've been playing with for a while. Something I got at Nationals, so thought it was pretty cool. Let's see, we'll slide this up to give myself a little more room. And we'll go ahead and start. So, single Cleffa. Oh, this is a Magne-Eel deck. Pretty similar to Magnezone. Pretty much you just swap out the Megas for some Eels, Thunderous, Zekrom, and just some alternate attackers. So a pretty simple transition since I've been playing Megazone for a while. And yeah, so this has actually been one of, this is top, I think, tier 1 deck right now. So it kind of took off, but yeah, I really enjoy playing it. It's a fun deck to play when it can get set up. So, run a single Cleffa just in case I need to eat my hand away. Having a free retreater is great since Eels can't attach to the active. They can only attach to the bench. So if something gets knocked out, this is great to promote while I fill up my bench. 2 Thunderous, this is ideally what I would start with, so I can start charging and getting energy onto the field. 2 Zekrom. I originally had just gone with more Thunderous. However, if you're going to see any Durant in your area, you're going to need at least 1 Zekrom. It's also nice to have a secondary big hitter. Thunderous, unfortunately, Disaster Volt is nice. It makes you discard energy, but that kind of recycles your energy for your Eels, but it only does 80. Zekrom, in addition to having a little bit bulkier HP, can be devastating 120, so it's great for getting some awesome knockouts. I run a single Cryogonal in my deck. I didn't need to use it today, but this is my Donphan counter. Ice Shard says that if your opponent is a fighting type, it does 40 more damage. Since Donphan is weak to water, that means it's doing 70 times 2, which is 140, which is knocking it out in 1 hit. It's not the biggest help against other fighting Pokemon, but it's pretty much just a Donphan counter because they can get set up so fast. Other things like Machamp, pretty much Machamp is the only other biggest one I've seen, maybe Archeops, something like that. I pretty much have to rely on my other Pokemon just to be able to take it out. So I run a 3-3 line of the Eels. This is a great card, even though it's only a stage 1 and has a hefty 2 retreat cost. Dynamotor allows you to take an energy card from your discard pile and attach it to one of your bench Pokemon. It's essentially like Typhlosion's Afterburner, but it doesn't let you put the damage on. Only downside is you can't do it to the active. So run 3 of those. Ideally I would get 2 set up in a game. My Magnezone line is actually a lot smaller than your typical Magnezone line. I only run a 3-1-2 line. And that's because I found that when I ran a heavier line, I was pretty much forced, not really forced, but usually my hand would lead me to set up more Magnezone than my alternate attackers. And unfortunately, I just burned through a lot of my energy, and then I'd die out late game. The smaller Magnezone line is great for a majority of decks. However, it is terrible for the mirror match. Once they figure out that you're only running a limited number of Magnemite, they just pick them off, and you really have no recovery. In the mirror match, you have to have some draw power. So I'm going to another city championship tomorrow, making some tweaks, and I'll probably increase this back up to a standard 4-2-3 line, and just try and pay more attention to where my energy is going. So by reducing that line, I was able to throw in a lot more draw, which was the biggest downside of this deck, was sometimes you drew into just absolutely nothing. So I run a 2 Pont, 2 Judge, 3 Sage, and 3 N, as well as 4 Collector. So those are my supporters. 4 Collector, you pretty much have to have that. That's really... You can, the people that I've heard that run 3 are also running Pichu. The N is great for disruption. If you can get your Magne-Zone in play and they've already taken several prizes, you can end their hand down to just, 3 or fewer cards, and hopefully they have no way of recovering from that. So that's a big card. Sage is great for not only, trying to get out of Candy Magne-Zone, some other big combination like that, but also for putting lightning in the discard pile. And that's going to pretty much fuel your eels and allow you to attach several energy per turn. The Judge, pretty much same thing as the N. It's just a little more of a reliable disruption, because at least you can draw 4 as well, just in case you don't have any recovery for a Magne-Zone either. And Professor Oak's new theory, there have been quite a few times where my opponent already has what appears to be a blah hand, and so I really don't want to, judge or end them into something that could possibly be better, but I need a new hand, so that's why I've got the Professor Oak's new theory. There's a lot of other options for this deck as well. Engineers is probably another big one that I don't run. Like I said, I'm going to make some tweaks for it tomorrow and see if probably taking out the Pont and the Judge, increasing my N, and then just increasing my Magne-Zone line back up. Alright, so on to my trainers. Since I run a smaller Magne-Zone line, I only run 2 rare candy, but as I'm going to be increasing it, I'll be increasing that as well. 2 switch. Not only is Magne-Zone has a hefty retreat cost, but your eels have a 2 retreat cost. So a lot of players will just capture up your eels in an attempt to stall. 4 Junk Arm, not only is this great for getting energy into the discard pile, but you're always gonna need to reuse your trainers, whether that be catchers, communications, rare candies. You never know when you're gonna need a Junk Arm. So it's always good to have those maxed out in just about every deck. 3 Communication. I don't have this maxed out at 4, pretty much just because with a Cryonical tech, the list is just really tight, and often I find that I can Junk Arm for another communication without having to put in a 4th. 1 Super Rod to get Pokemon and energy back from my discard pile back into my deck. Often I find that I'm using this to get my water energy back into my discard pile, or into my deck from my discard pile, because eels only work on electric energy. I also found that this is just a great card to use to prevent yourself from getting decked out. 2 Catcher, and this is another thing I plan on changing, just because I think things might have gone a little bit differently today if I could have drawn into a Catcher fairly early into the game. So, yeah, unfortunately I was only able to find room for 2 in this build, but I'm going to try and increase that to 3. And the reason why this is so tight before, as I kind of explained earlier, is that I've lost several games just due to losing out on resources. So something I did in this list was I increased my energy line to a total of 14, 12 lightning and 2 water. However, the standard is typically 13 or so, and if you're smart and paying attention to your energy, that should be more than enough. The big thing is you just don't want to over loss burn with Magne-Zone. So that's the list that I got forth with. I had a lot of great games today. I had a few that against, rogue guys or guys just starting out, or guys that just had terrible luck. I won 1 game just based on time, and my only loss of the day was to the mirror match. I lost to the mirror match in the Swiss rounds, and then I lost to him again in Top Cut. So overall, I think it was a pretty good day. I was able to pull it out against a variety of different decks, so I'm pretty proud of that. And again, just that mirror match is what kills me. So making a few changes, going to play again tomorrow and see what comes from that. So now I'll go on to show the cards that I got for getting 4th. I got 4 packs of Noble Victories, so I didn't bring my camera with me, so I couldn't open them up on camera. But I got them all sorted out, so I'll just kind of skim through the commons and uncommons, just because I'm sure they're not that exciting. If you want to see really, commons, uncommons, I've got plenty of openings of these packs, so recommend you check those out if you really don't know what those are. 4 code cards, some trainers, X-Transceiver Reverse, Cover Fossil, and 2 Rocky Helmets. That's pretty cool. My reverses were a Garbodor, Deano, the Free Retreat Dynamo, and now we're into my 4 rares, V-Blast Victini, Chandelure, I was pretty stoked about that one, Terrakion Hollow, and Haxorus Hollow. So overall, while I didn't get a full art pull, I was pretty happy with my rares. Chandelure is a deck that I'm going to try and build after this weekend. Terrakion is a great card as well. And used in actually quite a few things with all the lightning running around. Terrakion is just a great card. And Haxorus definitely isn't bad either. I did run across one deck running it. Luckily, I was able to catch it up before it could attack me, but still pretty awesome. So overall, it was a great day. This is actually my first top cut ever at a Cities, so I certainly didn't mind losing in top cut just because this is my first time at a Cities top cut. So I believe that is about it for my tournament report. And hopefully maybe I'll be making another one later in the week if I do well tomorrow. Tonight's Saturday. I have a feeling with all the other videos I'm uploading that this probably won't go up until Monday or so. So if you're watching this now, if I do well at my next tournament, it's probably going to be up on Tuesday. So thank you very much for watching, and enjoy lots more vids coming up.